Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin Roll International Coin Channel. And there it is. This is just a gem of a coin. Look at this, the 6 pence from the United Kingdom from 1964. This one was in a collection of coins. It was circulated but never really circulated. I think probably what happened was they went right down to the bank and got it. So what's it look like and what's it say? Well, right here it says Elizabeth the Second, or II, Dea Gratia, by the grace of God, Regina, or Queen. And this is the Mary Gillick portrait, and when you get a really good view of the Mary Gillick portrait, you see how beautiful it is. Now, Mary Gillick does not have her initials on the portrait. Mary Gillick was the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The first coins that they did that on were, of course, the 1953 versions of this 6 pence, and you can see that just how different this is. So this is the 1953, and if we put them right together next to each other, you'll see that it is the Mary Gillick portrait, and of course it's worn quite a bit. And it does start out with Elizabeth II, Dea Gratia, and you see Elizabeth II, Dea Gratia. See how much bigger this type is. Elizabeth II, Dea Gratia, Brit Regina. And this only came out in the 1953 version of the 6 pence in the 53 coins. That was the coronation year, of course. And Brit means Queen of all Britons, Brittons. And this coin was changed the next year to this type, same Mary Gillick portrait. And in fact, the Mary Gillick portrait stayed on the 6 pence for its whole run. So this first came out in 1953 with the Brit on it, and then it was produced the next year in 54 to 1970 with this exact front face on it. Now, the 1964 does have a couple different varieties, and one of the varieties you can tell, and it wasn't made very. There aren't very many. It's a kind of a thin rim. See, this rim is pretty thick here, and it actually touches on the beads. And on the thin rim, the A actually points right at one of the dots. See how this A points and it goes right between the dots, the end of the A? This is the very common version, but there is one where there's a thin rim here, and the A actually points, and the A in Gratia actually points to a dot. And if you want, you can look it up and get some pictures of that one. Numista and some of the other coin websites have that. So here's this Mary Gillick on the front. If we go to the back, we see, well, let's go to the side first, and we see that it is a milled rim. This is not, of course, silver. This is copper nickel. Now, initially, the 6 pence were made of silver, and they were made of 43.6 grains of silver, or 1/11 of a troy ounce was a 6 pence, and that's how you could just weigh them and you knew how much it was worth. If you got a bunch of these coins that were silver, the reason they set it up was you could weigh them and you knew in silver poundage what it was worth. And in fact, the United Kingdom still does that with its coins. And this coin, because they wanted the 6 pence to maintain the same weight, they made the copper nickel, and that weighed 43.6 grams, the same as the silver. So you can't differentiate the silver from the copper nickel by weighing them, but you certainly can differentiate them by the year. In the 1946 Coinage Act of 1946 in Great Britain actually changed it from silver to copper nickel. Now we're looking at the back, and I've been yapping, and you guys have probably just been looking at this saying, wow, what a beautiful coin. One of the first things we see on here is that there's a couple initials here. This is, of course, Edgar Fuller, EF, right there, and Cecil Thomas. They did the back of this coin, and the point at this time was to make it into a United Kingdom or a Greater Britain. And so what they did was they put the countries of the United Kingdom on here. It's symbolized by the plant's flowers. At the top it says Fid Def Down here it says 6 pence, and here's the year 1964. And you'll notice that this is not the beaded outer rim that we saw in the front. Notice, and I'll flip it over and show you, this is more of a geared rim where these actually touch the side. So let's see if we can get that. That flash of the light is just crazy making, isn't it? All right. There we go. So see how this is beaded and the beads don't actually touch? When we get to the back, we see that it is kind of a geared reverse, and they do actually touch. And that's just my my camera just is very sensitive to the light on this because I've got so much light on it because it's such a beautiful coin. All right, so what are the countries of the United Kingdom? Well, there's the Tudor Rose of England. There is the Thistle of Scotland. There is the Shamrock of Ireland. And then there is the Welsh leek, or the leek of Wales. So we have Wales, England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, of course, on this back. And they are intertwined, and they say it's in the shape of a cross. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're certainly intertwined and they cross. Now, how many did they make? Well, they made a bunch of these. They made them from 54 until 1970 in this version. The 1970 version was in proof sets only, or in sets only. The 1967 was the last circulating version. In this 1964, they made 152,336,000. It's probably worth about $1 in this condition, maybe $1 to $2. So not hugely valuable, but still a very pretty coin, a very striking portrait when you get that Mary Gillick first portrait, and you can actually see it in a quality coin like this. And that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Thanks for watching the channel, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.